That is a tank. That is the entrance to Fort Knox. It's called Radcliffe and Fort Knox. That is just coming into Fort Knox. That tank has been there for probably 50, 60 years. And at least. It's a little bit of a national park, I guess. I don't get out because there's a lot of traffic. It's on a main highway, and it's called Dixie Highway, but they call it Dixie Highway. And there seem to be, doesn't seem to be, but there are a lot of deaths on this highway. Tons and tons of crosses on sides of both sides of the roads. So I don't really want to get out because it's right up next to the road. But here's a little placard. Oh, it was ested in 1957. Constructed by the 54th Engineer Battalion C. Okay. So it's been there for, what, 70 years almost? Almost 70 years. And one day we'll take a tour up there. From what I'm told, there was a time where people could climb on it. I guess you still could, but and you could get down inside of it and see how it all works. And I think I heard, the last I heard, that they had sealed that so that you can't. But I know that they were doing some work here for a couple of years where it was surrounded by fencing and stuff. So let's see what other placards there are. See this, where the tank is. If I could hold it still, I don't have a stabilizer yet. So you see this where the tank is. You don't see the tank in this picture, but you can read what that says. 1935, portions of property in Fort Knox Military Reservation were set aside for use as U.S. bullion depository. Constructed in 1936, it was placed under supervision of Director of the Mint, a U.S. Treasury official. First gold brought here by railroad in 1937, and depository continues to be storage site for most of the nation's gold. By law, not open to public visits or tours. That's true. You can visit the Patton Museum, which is close to the reserves, but you know, when it says it's locked up, like Fort Knox, it's locked up. And then over here we have this placard that says something about Blue Star Memorial Highway, a tribute to the armed forces that have defended the United States of America. Sponsored by Dogwood District Garden Clubs in cooperation with the Garden Club of Kentucky Incorporated and Kentucky Transportation Cabinet. So, yeah. And this is just at the bottom of what's called Muldraugh Hill. Muldraugh, and it's a very, very steep hill when it's inclement weather, especially snow and ice. People in Fort Knox say, well, you know, Fort Knox, Muldraugh, and Radcliffe are all around in this area. They kind of intertwine. And I don't know where one begins and one ends, but everybody stays off of the hill in bad weather, even though it's a major thoroughfare called Dixie Highway, because it's very, very steep. And I guess I can take you on a ride. Now we're on Dixie Highway, and this is Muldraugh Hill, and it's apparently very scary to a lot of people when it's ice and snow. I know that some older cars, and there's not very many, but I know some cars have a problem chugging up this hill, and it probably doesn't look it really, but it's a pretty good climb. It's pretty steep and it's pretty fast, especially on the way coming down. It's scary because a lot of people drive like they can't wait to get to hell. So I don't know much about it. I know enough to be dangerous and just to give you high profile, or top level, should we say, information. Now we're in Meade County. We were in Hardin County, and Hardin County is a big county, but on Dixie Highway, it's probably 3 or 4 mile stretch, and it makes Hardin County look very small. Basically, there's a lot of accidents that happen on the downside of this hill, Muldraugh Hill. And as soon as I get up here and can turn around, we'll go back down and we'll take a look at that. And I'll be back. So to turn around, this is the first thing at the top of the hill, the very top of the hill. This is the very first thing that you can pull into to be able to turn around. And it's not surprising. I'm not doxing anyone. I don't know anyone here. Because it is a military base that's just down the road. I didn't go far enough, and I can't get on the base anyway. But I'm sure there's a lot of lonely soldiers and there's another adult bookstore with private booths just 5 miles down, just further. And so I hear that a lot of soldiers go there, and I guess they whatever happens. I don't know. I've never been inside. I'm not going to go inside. I'm sure that if I tried to video inside, they'd kick me out anyway. So let's take a trip back down Muldraugh Hill, and maybe it'll be a little bit different. So we're going to go down Muldraugh Hill, Muldraugh. I live in Louisville, but we're going to drive down that and take a look and see how it goes. I don't like it that there's a rig behind me, but you only live once. And take notice on the side of the highway. You may find a cross or two, or several, because there's quite a bit. The traffic moves very fast here, and people use it as a raceway, basically, but then they wind up on the side of the road as a cross eventually. So we'll take this down here, and like I said, this is just before you get into Fort Knox. And now we're leaving this area, which is Muldraugh, and going back into Hardin County. And Hardin County, there's a lot of things in Hardin County. There's another fort. It's called Fort Duffield. We'll do a thing. Now we're getting ready to go down this hill. And this hill, people who have to commute, they are forever asking people, how's the hill? How's the hill? You know, because if it's bad or if it's backed up, they don't want to use it, or they'll go on the interstate, which is 64, I think. Is it 64? No, it's 65, Interstate 65. They'll go the back way. Now this is called West Point, and West Point is where that tank is, and you'll see it, as you can see it in the far off distance on the left. That's where the tank is. So it's at the back end of West Point, and you know, now we're down the hill, but the hill is so fast and it's very steep, and I don't know how else to make it show it to you, but you know, I always drive the speed limit, which is 55 down this hill, because I don't want to be a statistic. I don't want to be across on the side of the road. Right now, we're not seeing any, which is illegal to put them up, but people put them up, and I don't think the law does much to them. But I'll do a video of West Point one day. West Point is very interesting. It's a poor city in Hardin County, just before you get to Meade County, where Fort Knox is, where we were just heading. It has its own main street, a lot of houses back there, but it sits on the Ohio. So when we have too much rain and the Ohio floods, most of those houses flood up to a point. I believe there's because some of them are so low, there's like the road dips, and so you're so low, and those houses are continuously underwater. So you'll see a lot of them that have rebuilt have built up garages or garages, tall, sometimes 2-story garages, before they put the house on top of it, so that the water from the river can just flow through it when it floods. So anyway, I'm going to lock this up because I'm going to stop at Fort Duffield. I've never been there, but apparently it is a fort from the Civil War, when the North and South were fighting. I've never been, but I don't want to put this on this video, so I'll make another one, and I'll wait for a sunny day so we can walk around and talk. It's too cold to be outside in this shit right now. Thanks for watching.